Good afternoon. This is Lauren Sengstock, Retired Finance Director and Citizen Auditor. Welcome to the Citizen Auditors of Ohio presentation on how to become a Citizen Auditor. I started this process approximately 4 months ago, and I thought it'd be helpful to have a beginning class of just the basics. So let's enter the world of fund accounting. First, we need to know what a fund is. And a fund is a separate self-balancing set of accounts used to account for resources that are segregated for specific purposes in accordance with special regulations, restrictions, or limitations. I often refer to that as people often refer to when they're running for political offices, we're going to run this like a business. Nothing could be further from the truth. Government fund accounting is not designed around making a profit unless it is a proprietary fund, which is a business-like fund. Most funds, general, special revenues, debt service, and capital projects funds, all of these separate funds serve different purposes, most of them from legal aspects of what you can and cannot do with the sources of the money. But in any case, the various fund types that we've discussed there also form into various fund groups. And those groups would be the general fund that you see down in here for governmental funds. There are general, special revenue, debt service, and capital improvement funds, which are combined into that one grouping, and that represents the operational aspects of most entities, whether it be a city, a school, village, or township, or even a county. Governmental funds are just that. They provide most of all of the operational aspects of a city. Proprietary funds are business-like: water, sewer, gas, electric. They also can be used for any kind of fund that is designed to be self-sustaining through user charges. The fiduciary trust endowment funds are just that. Those are special funds that really have very little impact on us as taxpayers. The two types of reports most generally used are general purpose financial statements and comprehensive annual financial reports. General purpose financial statements are very summarized, where comprehensive annual financial reports are very detailed. Types of accounting. How do we account for all of these various funds? Most generally, it's done on a cash basis throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, it is converted to GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. And those can be, in the case of governmental funds, which we've talked about earlier, those are done on a modified accrual basis, primarily dealing with, rather than income and expenses as you would see in a business world, it's based upon resources and upon uses, or expenditures as we often refer to them. Full accrual is just that. It deals with an income, expenses, full accrual accounting from assets, liabilities, and equities. There's also here in Ohio a kind of a hybrid, I call it, but it's called the other common basis of accounting, and that's ACBOA for short. It's for communities that have elected not to do a GAAP-based report and choose rather to do just a kind of modified cash reporting. The general purpose financial report is comprised of various sections, usually has a cover letter, table of contents, financial section, and a compliance section. The compliance section is where you should start looking at any kind of report to see if there are any issues as far as findings or of material weaknesses or deficiencies within the entity. And also you would look for things and ask for audit management letters, which are specifically requested from the state auditor's office. A Kafir is effectively the core ingredients of a general purpose financial statement, with the exceptions that it has more individual fund activity information. It also has a statistical section, and that statistical section is quite extensive and should be reviewed by all taxpayers. Gives you great historical information for the last 10 years of your community. How do I find and analyze audited reports? That's where Citizen Auditors of Ohio has come up with a website. We call it that, and it's located at www.citizenauditor.ohio.com. You're going to find that this is an invaluable website for searching for audits at the state auditor website, looking into the financial sections of those reports, getting the gap governmental funds total out of it using a 10-year spreadsheet, which I developed to give you both averaging and trending, which is, I think, very important in governmental fund analysis for your communities, and it gives you a big picture of what I'm doing in this community with the tax dollars I've been given by my citizens. In getting a lot of additional information, what you'll find valuable also is that most of everything that they have in government is called, and documents are called public records, and you obtain them through public records requests. There's a link at the website, citizenauditor.ohio.com, specifically geared for getting at the Ohio Attorney General's website, who is in charge of maintaining the Ohio Sunshine Laws. You can understand more about records retention schedules. Communities should have on file a listing of all records that they retain and how you go about getting them and what is actually available. And so they should have those. And it involves also the Ohio Historical Society. What do I need to do next? Well, you can go to our website and you can start by looking at these little introduction videos and learn the basics. If you have specific issues, contact Lawrence Singstock. He can help you in setting up that 10-year history analysis. If you have public meetings, what to go ask in the way of questions of your elected representatives. Report suspected fraud to the state auditor website. Also, letters of opinion are still quite valuable in your local papers. Now what I'd like to show you just briefly is some of the things we just talked about. For instance, the city of Twinsburg here, you can see, has done their general purpose financial statement for 2012. And if you look over here, you'll see that, again, it's comprised of all the various parts of cover, table of contents, the financial section, single audit section, compliance section, and schedule of findings. Whenever you see the single audit section, that just basically means that your community or this particular entity in this particular audit year received more than $500,000 in federal money, thereby requiring a single audit, which is additional auditing requirements for the federal government. One of the sections that you want to, again, go to is look at the compliance and the schedule of findings. If you go to the schedule of findings here, let me make that a little bigger for us so it's easier to read. You'll see that there are a schedule of findings out here based upon the federal audit. They're indicating that there were some material control weaknesses reported at the financial statement level. They're also down here, a lot of times it's important to look to see whether they're a low-risk auditee. And in this case, it says they're not. And again, it'll go in and explain the material weaknesses they found, giving you descriptions of what the auditors found. You'll also see things like official responses, what the city said it's going to do or take care of that finding. There were none for any wards. So that's just one of the areas where it's good to be able to look into your reports and see what is available to you. And let me get this thumbnail back up here real quickly. There we go. And if I were really to look at the financial section, I'm going to take just a few moments to go through this, but usually it starts with a independent auditor report. In this, they will be telling you what exactly they found, what their opinion relates to for this audit. Then you'll get into the management discussion and analysis, which, by the way, is unaudited. It simply gives you the highlights of everything that the city, from a management and control aspect, is saying about the entity, or in this case, the city of Twinsburg, for the year. And then you get into statements of net positions. Again, you'll see things showing up like governmental activities, business type activities, and totals. If you come down further into the report, you'll also find where we have been talking about governmental funds here in the balance sheet. You can see the general fund, you can see the assets, liabilities, equities, and you can also come down to see where the unassigned fund balance is at. Unassigned is very important because that means that that's money that's available for spending. It'll also show you in cases like this of any deficits, as for instance here in the fire pension fund. You're not supposed to have deficits, but usually under GAAP accounting they can happen. Just so you know, any fund deficits need to be made up out of the general fund. And of course now the police fund balance was negative, but now it is not. The city and their total governmental funds is indicating a ending fund balance here of $35.6 million. Then you're going to want to look into the revenue and expenditures for the governmental funds. As you can see, these revenues, expenditures, and transfers in and out for other financing sources and the ending fund balances, these 2 pages of this report are what I use to make that 10-year financial balance sheet. So pretty obviously from here you can see that the city actually made an income for a nonprofit organization. They made $4.7 million, thereby expanding their total governmental funds balance from $26.1 million to $30.8 million. And that's important to note because now they have all that money, they should be letting the citizens know what they're going to do with it. You also get into budgets. You can see their budgetary issues and stuff in this report. That's all I really want to cover on an introductory basis. So I'm going to close that out for a moment. And now I want to spend just a little bit of time looking at the city of Barberton. You can look at both of these communities' 10-year history analysis reports at my website. And I think what's important to look at here is that up to the point where you get down to the financial section, an awful lot of what you see here is similar to a general purpose financial statement, except when you get to the financial section, you'll see that it's quite expanded. There's approximately 225 pages of information on the city of Barberton, and you can see that their audit opinion letters are here. You can scroll through it and see that they still have an MD&A, management discussion analysis, just like a general purpose financial statement. And it goes on and on and on. The statistical section, again, is one of the sections that I think very highly of when it comes to financial reporting in a Kafir. I think it'd be great if every community did this because they have more information in them. If you look down in here, you'll see they have in this particular section, they go through and they have the last 10 years of information dealing with governmental activities, business activities, all in a concise, summarized fashion. It's invaluable to see this information for trending purposes. Just like my 10-year analysis report, you effectively get all of that information right here in your Kafir. So you can, if you want, look just at the areas in here to pick up the data. However, I like to get it from the actual report and make sure I don't miss any summarized data that might be helpful. But you can pick up everything down in here from assessed valuations, the direct and overlapping tax rates. You want to know what your tax rates have been. You can look and see every bit of information that might be of considerable interest to you as a citizen and help you better understand your community. I can only touch on these right now, but in the future hope to have extensive information available on them. Again, this was designed to be an introductory. Here is our website, Citizen Auditors of Ohio, and one of the key things that we talked about today is under state audited reports and websites, how do we find audits from our communities and what do we do with them? All starts here with a simple Ohio audit search. You can come in here and, for instance, type in any community like Twinsburg, and it's in Summit County, And when I click the search button, you're going to see all of the years available to review. And you can also see if they had any special audits done. For instance, in 2005, they had a performance audit done. That would be nice if they actually had another one done today so that they could use it for comparative purposes. But I do like to point out this website is designed to give you everything. And I also have included samples of the audit management letter. Like for the city of Twinsburg here, in 2012, they received an 8-page management letter. This again is public record, however you do need to request it special. And this is where you find out all and any of their non-compliance findings. These are where laws have been either issues that have come up but may not have been severe enough to put into the body of the audit, but yet they are of interest and concern to citizens. And I would highly recommend, if you're going to review any communities' financial reports, get this report or reports for multiple years. So again, this gives you an example of it. They also make recommendations in here, and I will probably go into more detail on this in other sessions. But for now, that pretty much covers the issues on an introduction to how to become a citizen auditor. Is get involved. If you need and want, you can contact us at using the contact form here. You can fill this out and send it to us with any message. And if you'd like help preparing a 10-year analysis of your school district, your community, or whatever, give us a call or send us an email here. It's the best way to do it. This is Lauren Singstock saying thank you. Have a great day. And it's been a pleasure visiting with you.